Talk a little bit about your team this year and specifically the recruits you brought in.
First, I'm very fortunate that some very solid young men have chosen to be part of this program, and I'm also very fortunate that I have some good coaching buddies and contacts who push some very solid players my way. Getting the job so late or in mid-summer to get this many high-caliber players, I think, was a very fortunate thing. I think myself and my coaching staff worked hard to bring in players, but we were very fortunate. We have, in general, a variety of very athletic, talented, skilled players. We don't have a big man right now, over 6'6", but we have a lot of talented players that range from basically 6'2" to 6'6", who are multifaceted, very skilled. They're going to play my style of basketball, which is a high-pressure, high-intensity, up-tempo system. For those people who remember the old-school Arkansas teams of 40 minutes of hell, that's what we're bringing back. We're going to pressure for 40 minutes, 94 feet every night, and we'll compete at a high level. To give some of the guys some accolades, Chad Archiga played at Ironwood Ridge here in Tucson. A very skilled, 6'4", talented young man, great leader. I think he'll be a great asset because he's a couple years more mature. He'll be able to lead some of these young, talented guys. Shabazz Lewis played at North High School and won state titles. Again, a great leader, hardworking, sets the tone on the practice floor, in the weight room, and definitely how to conduct himself around the campus. Some of our young, talented young men, Javante Bird out of California, very skilled. The ceiling for him is his potential is off the charts. I think he could be a very high-level player. Emory Range out of Phoenix, major get for us to be able to steal him late in the summer that he was still available and committed to us. That's a big sign that we're making a dent in Arizona. We have some out-of-state kids who made the commitment to go ahead and sacrifice and find a way to make it work to get here, and I think we're going to have a variety of weapons every night. We're going to compete. We're going to be very intense every night. Our guys are getting after it already. We're 2 weeks in, and they're learning my defense. They're learning what I expect, and I think we're going to have a lot of pieces that are going to surprise people because of how they play together, how unselfish they are, how they're committed to the team, and I think people are going to be pleased when they see the end result because we're going to have a lot of guys out there who can make a lot of impressive plays.
How do you feel your team will end up this year, which I know is always kind of a catch-22 question? And then a follow-up question to that is, what will you consider a good season being your first season?
Number one, I never talk about wins and losses to my guys. We talk about being perfect in everything we do. We set our goals extremely high. We try to be very clear and concise in what we're trying to attain every day, our objectives on the practice floor. And I think if we bring the intangibles we're talking about, the guys know I ask for three things every day: focus, intensity, and passion. I think if we bring those to go along with the athletic ability and skills that we have, we're going to have a very successful year. I don't make predictions. I'm not going to make guarantees. What I do believe is that people are going to be both surprised and impressed by what we achieved this year. I expect us, not just by our definition, but by everyone's definition, to have a highly successful year. Our goals are the same goals as everybody else. We know why there's a scoreboard out there. I don't need to talk about that. So my guys know that when we step on the floor, we're there for a purpose, and I do believe that our talent will match up to everybody on every given night.
Come on, Coach, give our readers something. You gonna predict something for us? You guys gonna do something special here? You gonna shock some people? You gonna shock the conference? You want to make a statement here and let everybody know? You want to set the tone for the season?
I'm not going to make any bold statements. I know what my expectations are. I know that we're going to achieve things that people will be surprised that we're going to achieve. And what I would say to anybody out there reading or observing this is that they're going to want to watch us play because we're going to be an impressive unit by the end of the year.
So a little jab and poke here. With the women's program being fairly successful over the last 3 or 4 years, Is there any pressure for you to turn the program around quickly? Do you feel that at all? Or do you feel like the opportunity is there to allow you to build a great foundation for a great program?
My first answer is a great quote was, "I do not want to preserve the status quo, I want to destroy it." What has been accepted as the norm, what has been accepted as a positive year is not what I expect. My goals are much higher than that. So I do not think of it as we need to take time to build things. Our goals are the same goals this year as they will be in 25 years. Pressure, the only pressure I feel is my own about what I expect us to do. And every day I strive and I set the tone based on how hard we work every day. Coach Holthaus has been a great support, actually, so there's no pressure from anybody else within Pima. The pressure to have success is only from within our own team. Coach Holthaus actually gave me some insights. You know, his first year was not perfect, but things quickly turned around, and you can see where they're at right now. So my pressure is not the pressure from the outside. My pressure is that I want to make sure that we are achieving at a high level that I think should be on par with the women's program, which is essentially competing for national titles.
Have you solidified a coaching staff? And if so, will you take a little time and talk about who they are and why you decided they were the right pieces or assistants for the program?
Similar to how fortunate I was with some of the players, I was fortunate that Coach Chris Clausen, previously of Palo Verde High School here in Tucson, he and I connected and we discussed the opportunity, and I'm very fortunate that a high-level coach was available and willing to take on this challenge. And so that's the first piece that I was able to add to our coaching staff. A great basketball mind, great passion for the game, very hungry, which right now is an essential piece of this program. I need guys who are driven to achieve way past what has been accepted before. Coach Clausen's a great offensive mind. He's developed some great players who have actually played at Division I level, so he has experience coaching high-level players, and so we're very fortunate to have Coach Clausen. Coach Ernesto Aguiar is our strength and conditioning coach. Again, a great asset because our strength program is one of our main assets and strengths as a program. We will go ahead and put as much work and effort in the weight room as we do on the practice floor because we really believe that the bond and the trust and those efforts pay off come March when we're really competing for in those bigger games. So right now, I've kept my staff pretty close-knit and pretty small at this point to make sure that I only had the highest quality, to make sure that we were all going in the right direction. And again, we do have some high-quality guys.
Talk a little bit about your coaching philosophy, which you touched on a little bit, and your style of maybe style of play or your philosophy as it pertains to the style in which you like to coach the kids, which I guess encompasses the kind of kids you're going to recruit ultimately. Talk a little bit about that.
Good. I think I want to talk about the attitude first.
Okay.
We are going to play with a swagger. Our goal is to be the most intense team every night. We're going to make other people play our style. We dictate every night. We're going to be the aggressors. And in saying that, we pressure for 40 minutes, 94 feet. We're going to change up our defenses, but we need excellent athletes who are fundamentally tough to go ahead and pressure the entire game. So we're probably going to have to go 10 deep, which is great. I want a lot of great athletes who can go ahead and defend and then hopefully get some turnovers, get rebounds, push the ball, who are multifaceted. I want every player to be able to push the ball himself, pass the ball, attack the rim, knock down open shots, and I want guys who are aggressive. I think some of the best comparisons at the Division I level are probably like Villanova and Marquette. Oftentimes not a true post player, but a lot of guards who are very talented and very skilled. We play a 4-out motion attack. We let our guards go ahead and create for each other, distribute, attack the rim as much as possible. Again, we want to get to the foul line, again, showing that we're being the aggressors. I want to allow my players to just show all their capabilities. Whatever they can go ahead and do, whatever their strengths are, I want them to go ahead and have the opportunity to go and showcase it. If guys work hard every day and they have a lot of skills to go ahead and help each other, we're going to feed off each other. And again, we're going to be very unselfish. We're hopefully going to lead the conference in both steals per game and assists per game. I want our guys to be creating havoc on both ends of the floor. I want other teams to have to adapt to how we play. So every night we should be the ones dictating tempo. Essentially, my goal is that we score 90 points a game, and our margin of victory should be at a high level because our defense should be so tough. I think some teams play great full court pressure. I think some teams play great half court pressure. We're going to play all 94 feet. And because we're going to have such good depth and such guys who can go ahead and do so many things, we're going to have a lot of guys who on certain nights are going to make some really fantastic plays.
Now, I noticed as I walked in the gym, watching you kind of round up practice, I kind of took a moment to stand there as I was waiting for you to get gathered up so we can get prepared for this interview. I noticed being in the gym that there's not a real connection to former players who have played at Pima. Not a big, boisterous, this is our school and this is what we're proud of. And it didn't seem like there was a real big commitment to tradition or any of those core values that you'd want to sell a parent on. You know, this is why you want to come to this school and what you want to be proud of. What are your thoughts about that, and maybe some ideas that you have that maybe make some changes in that direction?
My first comment is you are absolutely correct. But it also goes back to one of my first answers is there has not been a program previously. A program has that connection between players and coaches year in and year out. And because the consistency has not been there, there's not that tradition that you just mentioned. So our job right now is to hopefully go ahead and bring back some of those ex-players. No matter what successful level they had personally, I want every player to feel connected to our success now. They need to feel like they at some point sacrificed for this program and now they are recognized for what they did. But definitely from this point forward, I want every player who plays within my program to want to come back to talk to our future student athletes, who want to come back and see myself and our coaches, who want to be a part of the overall success. And that goes back to, I think, the idea of pride. I want them to be proud of being an Aztec, that the sacrifices they make while they're here are things that are going to help them have success in the future, whether on the court or in other realms of their life. But they're going to be wanting to show what they achieved and come back and pass that on to younger kids who want to play here. I think we have to create that attitude where people want to be part of this program. They want to be connected with it because of how we do things. Not just the end results, but really, like you said, the core values, the intangibles is what I talk about. The loyalty, the trust, the family atmosphere that we really do create. The idea that everything we do is with a purpose. We go ahead and sacrifice not just for our own gains, but for the good of everyone. People are going to want to see the end results when they see how we do things. Our guys are going to have success on the court because of the intangibles that we drive into them every day. Our guys are going to be emotionally strong, they're going to be mentally strong, and I think the tradition is going to start from this point forward, that we're going to make sure that guys do come back every year. They do come back to contribute and pass on what they learned here, and that they make sure the younger generations understand it does mean something to be an Aztec. Being an Aztec is something you want to strive for because it's an important part of hopefully their path to future success.
So I guess an add-on question with that is, why would I want to send my son to Pima Community College instead of the other JCCs in the conference? How are you going to get my son to your university? And maybe it's not the proper way to say that. What's different about Pima Community College and what you and your coaching staff bring as opposed to why I should go to some of the other junior colleges in your conference?
I think there's some great coaches within our conference. I think some great facilities within our conference. So I don't think when it boils down, it'll be comparison of some of those things. That question